Not everybody needs hormones to have menopause not suck. If you don't think you need it and you don't have symptoms, then you may not need it, right? I was having symptoms and denying that they were symptoms. You see the difference there. It's just like the people thinking that there's like nature's Ozempic. There's just not. You can't replace a hormone with something natural. They're not comparable. Educating yourself is going to be numero uno for you to be successful in this. All right, so here are several reasons why a woman may choose not to initiate HRT. And again, each his own. I personally don't get it. I would never try to raw dog this on my own, but I understand that everybody has their reasons, and it is not my job to judge. I honor where people are, but these are the main reasons I hear. I will say this, delayed or late initiation of estrogen can have all kinds of devastating impacts on your body. And we have the data to support this. So devastating impacts that could possibly have been prevented had HRT been initiated prior to the symptom severity or prior to a long time out. You know, the data is showing about 10 years post-menopausally, it's still very safe to apply estrogen. But clinically, what I have seen is that sometimes it's too late to right the ship. And this is where my personal experience comes into play. First, I want to share the reasons why women may choose not to, and I'll get back to that. But I do think that early intervention with HRT is critical. And I think, again, getting evaluated, considering it sooner than you think you might need it is really important. I'm not talking, there's a lot of discussion out there about really early onset menopause. I'm not talking about that. I'm menstruating quite normally, to be totally transparent with you. It is getting a little bit, funny here and there where I might skip one or I might have an extra round of something because I am getting towards that tail end of perimenopause. But the idea is that you just sort of sail on in to menopause. It doesn't have to suck. It really doesn't have to suck. And not everybody needs hormones to have menopause not suck. I know plenty of very healthy, fit women, and they are all very fit. I will give you that. That's the caveat. They're all incredibly fit and they have been training their entire lives. These aren't women who just figured out they need to start strength training like so many do. These are women who are incredibly high level athletes and they just cruise on into menopause. It's no big deal. And so it's not so much about labs as it is symptomology for me. If a woman says, do I need estrogen? I'm like, well, if you don't think you need it, then let me ask you a few questions, right? And that to me is more telling if they have symptoms. And if you don't think you need it and you don't have symptoms, then you may not need it, right? So I was having symptoms and denying that they were symptoms. You see the difference there. So first of all, fear of cancer risks. This is a very common fear, and I think that a lot of it is unfounded due to the Women's Health Initiative and how they scared the bejesus out of everybody when that came out in 2002. But there are certain types of cancers and there are certain types of women where this might be a real risk. And so obviously that's up to your risk tolerance and you want to talk to your physician always, right? But there's a fear that is quite unfounded and it is illogical. And many studies have come out since 2002. Women's Health Initiative initially dropped and really reevaluated the data in there. And that was a quite overblown situation. And I think it did a terrible disservice to, again, an entire generation of women. Estrogen used alone can definitely increase the uterine lining thickness, and that can put you more at risk. But the breast cancer risk really is not nearly there to the degree that we've been told, if at all, to be honest. And in many cases, it may lower the risk of breast cancer. So I won't get into that too far, but talk to your doctor, of course, and make sure your doctor knows what they're doing instead of just being like, oh, I'm against this. Many doctors just aren't educated and they're against it. Now, also, again, going back to the progestins, the fake progesterone, that has been shown to, as an HRT combo with estrogen, to be a concern of increasing all kinds of problems, including cancers. There's misinformation and lack of knowledge. This is on both the public and the doctor's part and the medical establishment. I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like the medical establishment really wants us having estrogen, and for various reasons. And I say this because it has come under fire. Different forms of estrogen have come under fire in the compounding world quite frequently since I've held a medical license. And I've always raised an eyebrow like, what? Why are they going after that? Like, why would that be concerning? So it makes you kind of go, when they keep coming back to try to take it off of the list of things we can make available to our patients, right? That always makes me raise an eyebrow. Some people prefer a natural or alternative health preference. Like that's the way they want to go. They want to raw dog it. They think that menopause is a naturally occurring process in a woman's life and that we should embrace it. And my bones and skin and cardiovascular disease and joints say otherwise. But if that's how people want to go, then that's how they want to go. And they want to use herbs and other things that are natural, and that's cool. But when your ovaries go offline, you can no longer stimulate them with an herb or stoke them with an herb to do anything. And so you really, it's just like the people thinking that there's like nature's Ozempic. There's just not. You can't replace a hormone with something natural. They're not comparable. And any doctor out there, chiropractor, telling you that his magic formula is the one that's going to give you the same benefits as estrogen that's just Looney Tunes. They're completely lying to you. There's a perception that menopause is a natural life stage, like I said, and that we should go through it so that we can experience it. And again, my joints and heart and skin and, libido just say otherwise. There is side effects and discomfort, or they're not tolerating it well. I used to be in this camp. I have always been a very low hormone girl. And when I tried taking estrogen back when I actually was getting symptomology in my early 40s, I really needed a little estrogen for various reasons. And I didn't use it because I wasn't tolerating it well. And that's just how it was. And I think it was, I wasn't going through enough opportunities of different forms to really find the place that landed me where I was tolerating it well and I felt better. So that can be a thing. You also can be getting overdosed, just like with the GLP-1s. A lot of doctors do standardized dosing, even in the functional medicine community. I've seen this time and time again where they do a standardized dosing protocol that they learned at a conference or they learned from someone, and it's just too high. It's just too high for the patient, and it makes them feel really, really crummy. And it, again, depends on the delivery. If you're giving somebody, X milligrams of a sublingual, that's going to be a whole different absorption than if you gave it to them in a pill form, right? So there's just a lot of variances that need to be taken into consideration. And so finding a doctor who's trained in this really does matter. There is a reluctance or lack of support from healthcare providers. That's huge. I've already said that. There's just doctors, they don't know. Endocrinology is complex and people don't want to take the time to understand it. Certainly don't go to your GP and expect them to have a clue, right? Like, why would they? We have to, as a society, we really need to just, if I can go on a rant for a second, we need to stop expecting every doctor to know how to do everything. Like, I don't do proctology exams. I don't do gyne exams. I don't want to. Can I? Yes. Was I trained to? Yes. Do I want to? No. I don't do peds. I don't take care of kids. I don't even remember half the things that I took board exams when it came to kids because I didn't want to treat kids. So I always joke, kids and cats, not my jam. Like dogs and adult humans, I'm good. But kids and cats, geriatrics, that's a whole other group. Geriatric patients actually have a lot in common with pediatric patients when it comes to their sensitivity of things. So, pick a doctor based on what they're really good at, because we're not all great at everything. I'm really good at musculoskeletal conditions. I happen to be good at a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that I'm great at all of it, nor that I had any interest in all of it. So let's quit getting mad at our GPs for not being a jack of all trades, because that's not what they were trained to do. There's cost and access issues, but again, I really want to drive this home. Micronized bioidentical progesterone is available through your standard pharmacy, and hopefully your insurance will cover it. And so are different forms of estradiol. It's bioidentical estrogen, and it's available at your standard pharmacy in patches, topicals, injections. There's all different forms. So access sometimes is just a matter of the patient needing to be more savvy. Again, doctors don't know everything, and they can't. They have lives too, and a bazillion patients to take care of if they're in the insurance model. So take it upon yourself to learn as much as you can. I do a pretty great overview inside my Ozempic Done Right University. It is not a hormone only course, and there's a lot more to be learned, but it is my attempt to educate you, whether you're a clinician or the general public, as best I can, and then talk to you about how these hormones work in conjunction with other peptides, GLP-1s, metabolically optimized insulin-sensitive lifestyle, like all the things. HRT is a huge part of that. So educating yourself is going to be numero uno for you to be successful in this. And that's why I created the course. And that's why I'm letting the general public in right now. We are working on making this a certification course for practitioners, and we will be kicking the general public out and definitely raising the price. So if you're interested in the program and you've been on the fence, buy it now, join us now before the end of the year, because things are going to change vastly in 2025. And I really want you to be as educated and empowered as possible. It's a beefy course. It's not for everyone. You have to be smart and you have to be interested in learning. It's truly a mini university in there. It's not just a kind of a casual overview. I really want you to understand what it is that you are utilizing so that you can be empowered and educated, so that you can have educated conversations with your practitioner. And if your practitioner is not the one, you can go find someone. There's a whole module in there on how to find a doc to help you as well. And there's a whole list of my favorite compounding pharmacies. And I just am trying to get you all the information that I can so that you can be educated and empowered. And I think for the right person, this is the most beautiful course. And, for some people, it's not the right course, and that's fine. And then there's social stigma and taboo around aging and menopause, which I'm not even going to go into that. I just think it is just crazy that a woman, it's always other women. It truly is always other women who come down the hardest on other women. And whenever I talk about hormones on my social media, it's always other women with this sort of condescending, matriarchal, half the time they're not even older than me, but they think they are. And they are so condescending, telling me what I should and shouldn't do. And the minute someone tells me what I should do, I block them, by the way. Just a little FYI pearl there. It's just nonsense. Like, I don't want to get old, and I'm not trying to stay 25. I'm just trying to be the hottest, happiest, fittest, juiciest 50-year-old version of Tina that I can be. And I will hang my hat on that, right? And when people say, oh my God, you look amazing, or your skin looks amazing, like, I don't think I do, to be honest with you. I can see the aging happening, but man, it's hormones. Like, I've been using them for a long time in tiny little increments as needed. Throughout my life, I have been utilizing hormones since my 30s, and you will pry them out of my cold dead hands. So when women look fantastic, I guarantee you 99% of the time, there's some hormones going on there. So this whole social stigma thing and this taboo, it's coming from other women. And again, it's coming from influencers and health professionals online that are going to convince you that their workout program or their supplement or their whatever is going to do it. And it's like, no, dude, it's not going to do it. I'm sorry. So if they can't prescribe hormones legally in their license, then I honestly don't listen to them when they talk about hormones, because they don't understand the magic salve that can happen for a patient when the right hormonal treatment plan is implemented. It's really phenomenal. I have seen chronic pain reverse. I have seen depression, and I'm going to get into it here because there's data to support everything I'm saying. This is not just opinion. My own personal experience was a few years ago at the height of the stress of pushing back on the narrative. My poor little ovaries were like, and my poor adrenals couldn't keep up, because your adrenals actually, I go into that in my course too. Your adrenals are what are playing catch up for your ovaries when it comes to estrogen production. And my poor adrenals were just fried. They're like little piles of dust upon my kidneys. And I don't know if you guys saw that study that came out recently. It's not the first time this has been shown, but we age in precipitous drops. It's not like this slow, gradual aging that happens. Age 44 and age 60, there's like two big dump outs, and we age pretty severely during those times. Mine, I think, was a few years later than that. So I was rocking and rolling at 44. I was feeling fantastic at 46. And then like right around 48, it got hard. Things got hard for a minute. And I went into, chronic pain spiral. My autoimmune disease came roaring. And I've shared all of that when I've talked about my journey with GLP-1 agonists. But my estrogen delivery system wasn't cutting it. I was using a topical, and I've had this happen with patients where, it's just not cutting it. Like, we have to play around with different delivery systems for different patients. And so I finally slapped an estrogen patch on, and thank God. This episode of the Dr. Tina Show, I have a treat for you. I'm going solo on this episode, and I have been asked countless times by